Shifting focus to the other big story we're tracking here on Headlines Today after the India Today group exposed the biggest espionage scandal in Indian history now over Nehru government. How Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's government spied on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's family for nearly 2 decades. The Narendra Modi government today officially said it has no plans to investigate this case any further. Weeks after the Bose family made a national level appeal for a probe into the circumstances around how Netaji's family was closely tracked by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's government, intelligence machinery, not just in India but across nations, the Union Home Ministry today informed Parliament that it does not plan to get a probe going in this case. Minister of State for Home said a large number of files relating to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, including those relating to the Khosla Commission and the Mukherjee Commission, have been declassified and they've been sent to the National Archives of India. The decision not to probe the espionage case comes as a big blow, as a setback to the Bose family that wanted to get to the bottom of this case. Headlines Today's Brijesh Pandey and Indrajit Kundu now join me for more on the story. Brijesh, do we know why the government doesn't intend to probe this case? Because there were assurances that were made to Netaji's family that an effort will be made to get to the bottom of that spying scandal.
Gaurav, the why is yet to be known, but the fact is that yes, people were shocked when they came to know about the government's stated position on espionage case against Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, because what the Minister of State for Home today said in the Parliament, said in a written reply in Parliament, flies in the face of the kind of assurances which were given to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose family, and the kind of public utterances were made when India Today did this expose of how they were spying on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and his immediate family. So the government did not come up with any kind of explanation as to why it has not decided to pursue this particular case and take it to its logical end, and the way the kind of the noises were being made right at the level of the Prime Minister, it was this particular step and this particular reply by MOS Home has come as a complete shocker.
Yes.
Gaurav?
Indrajit, has Netaji's family reacted to this? Because they had pinned their hopes in Germany. They met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The family made several statements. They met other government officials. They were very hopeful of a probe.
Well, that's right, Gaurav. The Netaji family at this point in time is pinning their hopes on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Remember, Narendra Modi has invited the family members to meet him in New Delhi, and the meet is going to happen later in May. So, coming in that backdrop, this does come as a huge setback. But if you read in between the lines to the reply that the government has given before the Parliament, it says that there is no proposal to probe the spying angle. However, the government does concede that there are certain files with the central government as well as with the state government here in West Bengal. So there is no specific word about declassification of the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose files, which has been the the focal point or the basic demand of the entire Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose family. So there is no clear word as to whether the government wants to declassify these files, and I'm sure the family is going to raise this matter once again once they meet the Prime Minister later this month. However, as far as the snooping angle is concerned, one that we had broken earlier this month, the government clearly stating that there is no need for a probe at this point into the snooping controversy.
Okay, within the BJP, Brijesh, there was a strong section that said the entire truth needs to come out, because several investigations seem to indicate that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was alive, that there was no air crash, or if there was one, he had survived. He traveled to another country, and perhaps it was in that country that he was locked up in jail, and that is something that needed to come out. The truth needed to be told, irrespective of its impact on the relationship with that country today. Now, is that section vocal even now? Do they want a massive probe into what happened to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose?
Well, Gaurav, there's no reaction coming from anybody in the BJP, because there's a complete silence over this particular issue, because, there are various theories about how whether Netaji survived the crash or there was no crash at all, or there were a couple of other theories revolving around his life and death. Will you stay with me for just a moment? I just want to quickly bring in Mr. Surya Bose, the grandnephew of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Sir, the government has just said that there are no plans to conduct any probe.
into reports of surveillance on family members of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose by the Intelligence Bureau for 2 decades. Your reaction to that, Mr. Bose?
Well, you see, I'm not on site. I'm not in India. I'm in Germany. I've just heard about what was tabled in Parliament today. The answers I saw scanned copies. So going on that, well, it's a bit surprising after all that has happened in the last few weeks that the Home Ministry, I believe it was the Home Ministry which made that statement.
It is?
I would say it's not acceptable. Secondly, I would ask the, I think, was it Minister of State for the Home Ministry who made that statement? But the person or the persons involved in these answers
Right.
which were tabled should be asked whether they consulted with the Prime Minister's office or the Prime Minister. Because in my meeting with the Prime Minister, I mentioned this issue of surveillance of my father, Amionath Bose,
Right.
and others, and of course, declassification. Now, for declassification, I should suggest that you consult, and I believe you have been in touch with Mr. Anuj Dhar and Chandrachud Ghosh, who are leading the whole declassification movement.
Yes.
And the Bose family has been supporting it all through. So, and they are really on site and would be the best persons to respond to these issues. Only thing I can say is it is quite unacceptable now to get answers like that the Mukherjee Commission reports and the Khosla Commission reports have been declassified.
Right.
That wasn't ever, it wasn't on our agenda at all. Those things have been there. But what we are talking about are the files, the classified files in the Prime Minister's office.
The 150 odd
some in the
files. Yes.
No, the Prime Minister's office has, I think, around 30 or so.
30 in the Prime
don't pin me
Minister's
down
office?
on the numbers.
Yes, and apparently another 100 odd in the West Bengal government's office. But tell me this, your conversation with Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Berlin, what transpired and what was his assurance to you?
Well, he said he would look into the matter. Now, I'm not going to go into each and every detail of our discussion, and it is the Prime Minister's prerogative also what he decides. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth. And you see, what I'm going to say is, well, he gave me the impression that he was quite honest about what he said, and I believe him, that he was going to look into the matter. And if the Minister of the Home Ministry makes such a statement, which is quite, I would say, I wouldn't accept it on its face value. I would probe further and take it up with the government and ask them whether they really consulted with the Prime Minister's office. Because a lot of things happen without one ministry, consulting the other.
Right.
I don't know whether any other intervention has taken place in the meanwhile. So that's all that I would like to say right now. Because I haven't been totally, I'm not totally in the picture because I'm not even on site and
Naturally.
I haven't been following in the last
you were
couple
given
of
an
days.
assurance that the Prime Minister was serious not just about declassification but also a probe into spying.
So of course, he said he would look into that because that's an issue which has come up quite recently, and it's something which I think is important because of the IB reporting to MI5 in the UK,
Right.
even after India became independent. So that is certainly an important issue. And,
Absolutely.
I think, because right now, definitely the government has a major issue on their hands with the Nepal earthquake. But at the same time, they shouldn't be making such statements as what was tabled in Parliament.